How the devil are you? Straight down to the technicalities. I like it.
Hang on, I'm just adding your camera. Hold up. Hey, thanks so much for joining us.
Audio headphones out. Yeah. No, mate, I've got no other sound out apart for headphones.
Oh, you are echoey.
There he is.
Hey, Ben.
Hello.
I do like it. Are you
Me.
on? He's on location there, just on the error.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually quite early in the morning here too, so it's pretty representative of the light. There's not much light at the moment.
No, it's the same here as well. It's Melbourne, because you're in Sydney, New South Wales.
No, I'm in Melbourne, just up in Essendon.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Oh, I can't help that.
No, it's dark here and cold. I've got my heater on, which is sitting literally just below where I'm standing. So
Yeah, I'm out in the pain cave, so I've got my blanket sitting in my lap.
Looks like
Are you
you
in that
sent in
shed
from work.
there?
Yeah, I've got my family, like my wife's family staying, so I don't want to be sitting in the house making lots of noise. So
Oh, okay.
Let them sleep.
Yep.
Oh,
Good call,
cheers,
actually.
Ben.
Good call. I can record stop.
I like the little mic.
Start. Say again.
I like Ben's little mic.
Oh, Ben.
Yeah, I've got a little M5, the condenser mic, so actually, yeah, quite
Oh.
handy.
I'm just gonna crop you.
Oh, look at that.
Yep, I can crop that up. Yeah, easy. That happens when it's early in the morning. I'm an evening streamer. There we go.
Oh, there we go. Wonderful. Oh, we're good. And we are Rob Hutto. Stop that. My light keeps going off for some reason.
So, do you know everyone? I'm Swifty, or Rob. We've
Rob.
talked. Andrew, Nathan. Oh, he's fucked up.
He's back
Hello.
again.
So my light was going off. Okay. No, I've watched a bunch of your rides and races. In actual fact, Ben, it was I think on one of your TTT, your WTRL TTT rides that I came across the that bot that you guys use.
Yeah, it's quite a funny story with that bot, because the team that I ride with now, we actually didn't want to have the bot, and then one or two of our riders actually didn't want to ride without the bot, so we ended up compromising
And using the bot.
because he's quite a strong member of our team. So
Right, okay.
we decided to go with it, and then we've actually started to really enjoy it, because at first, as you know, it's quite difficult to try and run the bot when you're running 180 beats per minute.
Yep.
Just trying to hold the wheels, but yeah, once you got used to the commands, or you actually, with our team, we had someone who would do it. The rest of us just yell at them, "Can you please put me, swap my team, swap my role, so I don't want to be next."
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. What do they call it? I haven't done it for a while, actually. Toast. That's it.
Yeah. So I don't know if sorry, go ahead.
When we were doing dirt racing series, I think it was some of the TTTs were on Thursdays, which clashed the WTRL ones, and it would go really slow. I like 7 o'clock UK time. It just start drawing to be like next rider, and you couldn't stop the bloody thing. You're on the river, and you're like, oh, shut up, you whining cow.
Yeah, no, that's actually caused a lot of comedy with some, because only a couple of riders would hear that. The rest of you would be fine, and you're like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, "No, they sound like they're
really?
drunk."
Yeah, it is like that.
Yeah. So I enjoy it for the entertainment value. Sometimes just one of the riders not quite sure what's going on because they're getting the stuttery bot.
Yeah. No, it sounded well. I didn't know it did that, so it sounded quite good actually. I wanted to, because I'd been saying to our team, "Hey, we should really use this," and they all went, "Ah, oh, no, it's a bit of a wank, and don't worry about it." But every time that we've had someone, do the DS role and call riders through, oh man, it makes such a big difference.
Yeah, the good thing is too, I did one ride. We obviously you've had Josh Harris, an absolute
Yep.
beast, and so I did a ride with Aero, and I'd done the course before a couple of times in the TTT, so I knew exactly how long it was going to take to get to certain parts of the course. And so what you can do is you can set it up so the strong rider like Josh will be the one that hits the last turn before the bottom of the climb.
Yep.
Which, as you know, on a TTT, that last pull before a climb is, you're all fighting not to do it because that is the hardest pull.
That's the hardest one.
Yeah, and the great thing about that bot, because you know how long each person's going to take, you can actually tailor it for the riders, which takes a little bit of preparation. And if the riders do toast early, then you're in trouble, but you're going to be in trouble anyway.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I started reading some of the documentation about whether you could actually tailor those the roll through times. But so it sounds like you can, yeah. But
yeah, so you can set any time you want, really. You don't want to set less than 20 seconds because it gets a bit confusing because you don't hear your name.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so as long as everyone kind of stays on target, then it kind of works okay.
Yeah. And
so, hang on, sorry to interrupt. I had a burning question there. Were you one of the ones that didn't want the bot or did want the bot?
I didn't actually like the bot at first because I was racing for two teams. So I was Backpedal and there was Aero.
Yep.
Aero community team. And we had Jay Normus, who's a very good captain. And so our method was to do the 30 seconds on, 30 seconds, well, you do your 30-second turn and you call yourself 5 seconds before your turn.
Yeah.
And the good thing is I liked about that is you could hear how much people were hurting by their countdown. So if they did 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you knew that they had plenty to go. And so if you hear them just absolutely dying to even say that, you knew that maybe they should miss a turn.
You have a rest, yeah.
Yeah.
And does that mess it up when one of them does sort of go, I can't keep doing this, I've got to take, an extra turn? Does it?
Yeah. I'm of the idea that if someone's going to be missing a turn, or if they do an extra turn and then they drop, I'd rather they miss the turn because it's having that extra 3 or 4 meters to fall back after your turn makes a huge difference after your turn. That's why when you find if you ride with 8 riders, it feels so much easier because when you do your turn, you actually can fall back 50 or 60 meters and have that time to get back up to speed. Whereas if you've only got 2 or 3 wheels to follow, you've really got to punch it again.
Yeah.
I'm amazed by how many people don't even bother trying to do a pace line. I mean, when you properly do it, you're barely pedaling at the back. It's like awesome.
Yeah.
Well, at my speed tomorrow, anyway.
Yeah. It's one of my my teammates ask if the cranky Aussie is going to wake up in the morning because I get very cranky if I'm riding along and they're riding 4 wide and I've just done my pull. I'm like, just give me a pace line, drop back.
Yeah, exactly that. But I think getting steering introduced into those TTTs will make a big difference too.
Yeah, I'm kind of annoyed that you can't use other devices. That Zwift has said, okay, this is our device, or you've got a smart bike. You can't just go and set up your own keyboard, any Bluetooth device because it's going to be.
Oh, let's save it.
Okay.
Hey, do we want to we'll kick this on? We've got some good dialogue going and I don't want to waste it. Hang on. So Ben, what we'll do is we're streaming these. We're going back to just pre-recording this. So we'll hit the opening title just to give us a sense of getting this started. Then Rob will come into the group chat with us, and then we'll introduce you.
I'll kick it off. Yeah.
All right. Let's. So I'm just going.
Oh, you're going to introduce us. You're going to introduce me.
Me? Now we'll do the intros later. So I'm just going to run because what I want to do is take some of the content we're using now and include that in the intro that you're going to record. So
I've already recorded an intro.
Have you? Oh,
yeah.
Awesome. Oh, cool. Then that's easy. Well, but we're going to add that in post edit, though, yeah?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't have it here to play. That's all.
Well, it's in the folder, but okay.
Oh, keep talking then. Let me get it. Hold on.
Okay.
It's only 40 seconds of me saying this is what we're going to cover.
All right, hang on 1 second. If you've got it there, I want to play it now. So
just slot that in like you did the other video.
Oh, you've gone really echoey now.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
picking up your pod mic.
Oh, is it a different mic?
No.
Maybe you should leave and make sure you join with the right mic.
I've got 2 mics.
Yeah, that's
Ah,
yeah.
There you go. Is that better?
Bloody hell, it's a good job you're here, Ben.
That's better. Thanks,
That
Ben.
was my other topic. How difficult it is to get a live stream going. It's hard enough
Oh.
joining Zwift when you first start, let alone live streaming.
Tell us about it.
Well, when I
We've
checked the
all-
settings, it actually showed the pod mic on there, but you had to like click on it to show the whole list.
Oh,
So
you're
it
much
must have
better
picked up
now.
The mic on the cam now as well.
Yeah, that's much better.
Yeah, Road was going to send you a nasty letter with that sound.
Yeah. I've
All
already
right.
tried to sort out mics once before.
I've had that on my streams for the last few months. I've been using 2 mics, and I've been like, there's a weird self harmony going on because my video, my camera was also picking my.
Yeah, and then you get
Audio?
that weird echoey.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as that, but yeah.
Yeah, so
No, I've
so-
actually might adjust mine actually.
Almost there.
So you would have that lined up by now, Nathan.
Yeah, you think 12 episodes.
Yeah, one
I'd
job.
Had this sorted out by now. Okay, all right. Let's play that. Hey,
Encyclopedia of Zwift.
It sounds like
Look,
you're
who's
putting me up a
doing
lot
the
now. I've got a lot
intro?
of pressure here.
How am I to be doing the intros? Come on, man. Give it to me. Can we do it again?
Go for it.
Encyclopedia of Zwift knowledge, destroyer of B-Cat, super domestique in the Chasing Pig series. I give you Ben Pitt. Welcome, Ben.
Hey!
Thanks, guys. You built me up a lot there. I've got a lot of pressure now.
Well,
no
I've
pressure on this
barely
show.
started. I've got a lot more nice things to say. I think that, well, I want to be genuine about this because other people might think if I contradict myself, people will hold me to account. But I think you've got the best thumbnails. I think you've got the best intro music, and well, yeah, one of the best races. But we've had Josh, so I can't really say.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, don't. I've given up since Josh started.
Josh is
thanks for having me, guys.
machine. No, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Great
you're on
to
a
have you here.
WTRL team with Josh, yeah?
Yeah, so I do 2 teams basically because one of the teams that I ride with are from the UK, and so I do struggle to ride with them sometimes, especially during the winter time because they're racing at 3 o'clock in the morning, which during lockdown was fine, but nowadays with back to normal life. So yeah, I jump in with the Aero CT team, the Aero Masters.
Okay, yep.
Was that backpedal? Is that Ed Laverack's team?
Yeah, so I used to ride with Backpedal with Ed Laverack's team. Also Philip Lovett, which is Bike Racing Without Mercy. And also Com Hunt TV, they started that. But then now I race with the Burrito Titans because it started off as a bit of a joke because everyone hates a burrito. So we thought if we have burrito in our name, people can, they'll enjoy getting smashed by the burritos. So
As
Yeah.
everyone
What
does.
is your history with cycling and Zwift and so on?
So I didn't start. Obviously, when I was a kid, I used to ride to school like a lot of Aussie kids, and then got a car. And bicycles did not exist until I was working in Adelaide. I actually got my helicopter license when I was just before I was 30, and so I was off in Adelaide working for. There was a desalination project going on there, and we were flying crew to the offshore drill rig.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I got a bike because the company house was only 3 kilometers from the helipad. And that was the longest 3 kilometers of my life the first time I rode. I've got a good friend now, Jackson, and he was working that day. And I rode into work, walked into the door in the little shed, and he looked at me and just laughed his head off because it'd taken me probably half an hour to get to work because there was one little steep, punchy climb, which I had to get off the bike, lie on the ground.
Oh,
in
no.
someone's yard. And then when I got there, I walked in the door, was white as anything, and I said, "Oh, I've got to give me 10 minutes." I walked into the bathroom and vomited.
See, I always imagine, all you awesome racers, I was like, oh, they must have been doing it all their lives. They must have been like semi-pro or something.
Yeah.
No, I was like 104 kilos at the time, man.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you're not that now, are you?
No, so that was pretty much because I'd been working in hospitality, working in a fine dining kitchen
Okay.
before that, and so food was aplenty.
Yep.
There was never a lack of food.
What was that first bike that you got?
It was a Norco mountain bike.
Big heavy thing.
Yeah, it's front suspension, hardtail.
Oh.
It was actually not that bad, but I had probably like 50 watts FTP.
And then you progress from there.
When you're 100 odd kilos, the weight of the bike is no.
Yeah, no.
The least you probably
I was
it.
And then because we're in Adelaide, so my mate Jackson was loved doing downhill mountain biking. So unfortunately, he had a dual suspension bike. So what we'd do is we'd ride to the hills, catch the train up to the downhill section, and then he'd just disappear while I went down like a little fairy because even when I was a kid, I was always that last one down the bottom of a gravel descent because I'm a fraidy cat. But it was great because you'd catch the train to the top of the hill again. And then it was actually the first time I experienced a proper bonk, was riding back from the hills. And again, I was probably only 10 kilometers from home, but I just took the train because just pedaling was just the hardest thing.
Yep. You were done.
I was done, yeah. But then obviously been riding the bike a bit more. And then when I moved to Melbourne, I worked in a cafe for a few years, but I picked up a courier job. So I was doing Fedora work.
Okay.
Started off with my motorbike, but then swapped over to bicycles because I realized it was a much better way to make money because the bicycles for Fedora got the shorter deliveries, whereas the motorbikes got set longer. So in Melbourne, when Fedora was doing their courier work, it was a bit like Uber, but the Fedora system was paying a lot better. So I could make pretty good money.
Did you go from couriering people in helicopters to delivering stuff on bikes?
The pay was so much better. For about 3 years in a row, I'd take 3 months off and go for a 3-month vacation to Europe because the pay was so good.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because by that stage, I'd gotten a lot fitter as a bicycle rider. So I was clearing probably about $2,000 a week Australian.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
How fast were you?
Well, it wasn't so much fast; it was just efficient. Because, as you know, riding to the city, if you know the routes where you don't have to worry about stopping at traffic lights, you take left turns, and just knowing the addresses.
You get around pretty quickly.
Yeah, and with Fedora, they paid you. So if you picked up more than one delivery, you got paid for each delivery. Whereas nowadays with Uber, if you pick up 3 or 4 deliveries, you don't get paid until you start the next delivery. So during the rain, like the really wet, soaked days, and riders didn't want to work, you could be getting sort of $80 an hour because you pick up eight deliveries. You go to one restaurant, pick up 2 or 3 meals, and then you go to the next restaurant, pick up another one, and you end up feels like you're riding around with food in the bag for all day because you just never seem to get rid of any of the food.
So
I saw Jonathan Crane. He was doing a video game where he was doing bike delivery, and it was it's like his Zwift game. So your power still measures and so on, but it was a delivery bike game. It looks quite fun. It might be your niche.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. It's in New York or something.
I think so.
Yeah. No, it's actually it was one of those things that was actually hard to get out of because it was so fun. It was because you're always waiting for that next pickup, and you try and because the system knows where you are, you can learn where you should ride to for the best drop-offs. Because in Melbourne, you've got QV, and then you've got a lot of international students. And so if you go to QV, you generally drop off only about 500 meters up the road because the international students are all too busy to even want to leave the house. So you'd end up with about with Fedora, it was good because we had our own chat. Whereas Uber, you don't have a chat. You can't talk to any other Uber riders
Okay.
unless you join Facebook.
Yep.
Right.
But we had our own chat, and so we'd all sort of end up becoming good friends. And we'd sit around at the QV sort of centre square, and the best place to pick up was at Papa Rich. And so we'd all try to get Papa Rich, and then you could pick up from Papa Rich, go up the escalator, and deliver to the apartments upstairs and get paid $10. For doing like literally 5 minutes work.
Yeah, I've not heard of Fedora, so yeah, that's just like a food delivery.
Yeah, same as Deliveroo and Uber. They actually left Australia because I realised that they're paying us way too much. And
Right.
we couldn't afford the,
That's why I haven't
So-
heard of it.
Left the whole country.
yeah, so yeah, that's that. So once they left, then that's when I stopped. I did a little bit with Uber, but that's when I actually started getting fast.
Yeah, okay.
Because delivery riding, you're either doing sprinting or zone 1.
Yep.
You're never doing threshold work because you're just going traffic light.
And so that's how you got into Zwifting, or what was the?
Well, that was one of the reasons why I'm called Titanium, because it was after Fedora left and I was working for Uber, sort of did it for about 2 or 3 months, and then I was messaging one of my old Fedora friends, telling him, "Oh yeah, I've done this and I've done that. Like, oh, this is so annoying working with Uber. I'm heading home now." And he says, the next thing you know is, he gets a message from me with a photo of me in hospital. And what I've done is I'm heading home. I'm thinking about what I'm going to have for dinner. I'm going to go past the shops, and then about 3 weeks before that, I had a bad crash and dislocated my thumb. And so rather stupidly, I thought I'd try and see if my thumb's okay now by trying to do a bunny hop over the top of a speed hump.
And it wasn't.
And my thumb was not okay. My hand came off the handlebars and I face planted into the ground and smashed my, as the nurse said, here's the guy that smashed every bone in his face sitting in that hospital bed.
Oh my god! So that's all titanium screws and plates and stuff.
So yeah, I've got 5 plates in my face now. I broke from ear to ear, broke my jaw.
Oh man!
So
How long ago was this?
it was 2018.
Wow.
Bloody hell!
So
It's quite funny because I forget that I've done it. So my dad, who lives up in Wollumbar, I don't see him obviously that often. And a lot of the times he's like, "How's your face?" And I'm thinking, "Yeah, that's right. it's fine."
It's just a face.
Yeah,
It's
he's
actually-
more traumatized by it than I am.
and
Oh,
so
I can imagine.
going through metal detectors at airports, all good, or
That was the first thing they said to me, which wasn't my first thought. But they're like, "Oh, don't worry about going through security because it's titanium,
so
so
it doesn't?
you'll be fine."
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So it doesn't register.
It's not
titanium.
magnetic, is it?
yeah, and doesn't register.
Oh, okay. There you go. Make guns out of titanium, I guess.
I don't know how good. Will the barrels work? I don't know.
Yeah, not too sure. Good for
You
surgery,
shouldn't be
apparently.
giving terrorist instructions.
We'll get
Oh,
taken
no,
down
no.
if we talk about how to make guns.
Yeah.
Oh,
Branch
we'll blur
out
that
to
out.
new segments.
So on YouTube, then you've got your YouTube channel there. You've got 283 subscribers, 202 videos. How did you get into recording your rides?
Basically, because I was obviously like the rest of us doing a lot of riding during lockdown, and I was doing a lot of zone 2, zone 3 type rides. I don't know. Well, basically, the people that follow me on Strava know that I love doing a Zert workout called Lucy in the Sky, which is 3 minutes on, 1 minute off. 3 minutes off, 1 minute on. Oh, there I am. And I was doing like 3 hours. And so I basically just wanted to do something for that 3 hours while I'm doing quite easy riding where you can do other things. So I listen to podcasts and stuff, but eventually around on podcasts.
Yeah, okay.
So I just started streaming just to give myself something to do. Learn a new skill. As you know, setting up a stream is actually,
It's
quite difficult.
It's not easy, is it? I was about to ask, how do you find doing that? Is it frustrating? Does it take up too much time sometimes?
Yeah, I can see why people you'll end up stop streaming. So quite a lot of people will stream, and then after about 6 or 7 streams, they just can't be bothered anymore because OBS particularly, I find you'll have the settings just right, and then you'll jump on OBS one day, and all of a sudden everything's just wrong. And it, especially if you're going live, you're like, oh, I'm going to be live in 10 minutes, and then you jump in and you're like, oh, this is not right. You have to reinstall or something, and then you just can't get something to work, and it's just, and it takes a bit of the fun out of the racing. But I think I've got it. I better touch wood, but I think I've got it down pretty good now. I do invest a bit of time trying to work out the best settings and things
to get it sorted.
Have you still got shoulder cam? I haven't seen your streams for a while.
Well, one of the things was, I don't know if you saw the last stream that I did, but I was doing that Chasing Pink series where I was pretty out of form, and I wasn't going to be doing riding, and then Josh jumped in, and he got me pretty excited about doing the Chasing series, because the last year I did the Chasing Yellow.
Yep.
I ended up winning that, but it was kind of by default because I think I was the only A rider.
Did you?
Yeah, the rules are a bit different then. So the rules were the top 10 results, so you didn't have to do all the races.
Oh.
But then the organizer, he then also created another one where we had, because he opened up the Discord and then takes in your total time for every single event. So I think I might have won out of the top 10 results as well, because really top racers were obviously doing other races at the same time, and they missed quite a few.
Some of the races,
So I got the key races in where you can make up the time, because I think I might have only missed one race. I might have even done it. I can't really remember, because it was quite intensive. And then,
You're doing it again this year, on it?
No, it's a lot of, as you've seen when Josh was on, it's a lot of stress, because you just. Yeah. And the other thing was, at that time, it was only one time zone, so I didn't have to worry about other races. I didn't think I got a better jump into the 6 a.m. ride because it's faster than or it's better.
There was certainly a lot of talk about that. People were playing the different zones off against each other.
Yeah.
So Andrew and I started out doing it this year as well, and we got up to, I think, the classics or the chasing. What did we get up
just
to? Just
before the Duro one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we basically got up to where the Duro was, and then we pulled the pin.
Yeah.
That's a big commitment. It's massive. Like, to do the whole series from one to go, that's huge.
Yeah, we call it chasing burnout.
So
I'd agree with that.
Might jump up and help Josh on occasion, or not?
Yeah, so I jumped in. It didn't really need much help. So I think you guys watched one of my races where Josh's girlfriend was racing, and so I just dropped back and just sat in her group, and then tried to I think we're coming into the descent to the tunnel, and so I thought I'd try and put a bit of a spurt on here to get the group going.
Oh yeah.
And then you got a message saying, "Oh, what's Ben doing? I thought he knew what he was about to do." I was like, "No, I wasn't actually trying to attack. I was just trying to get the blob moving." And then, because I was out of, I wasn't actually going to race it, but then when we got to the epic reverse KOM, I just started watching Josh, or both the Joshes, and I was recording it, but then Josh Wilson wasn't aware that I was recording it, and so he said a few things that shouldn't be on YouTube. But he did it. I don't know if you watch Josh Wilson, but he is absolute beast. He used to race in Europe as a continental level rider until he had some issues with his health, and his dad actually won a Tour de France stage, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
So he's got major talent. So
a bit of pedigree there.
Yeah, he's going to give Josh Harris a definite run for his money when it comes to the next ZRL.
Right. Yep. Okay.
Series. And so he was just basically sitting on the second rider's wheel just to make sure that Josh could get away, and then just come out to that last little kicker on the top. I just sitting there with Josh, and we just laughed our head off, because Josh Wilson, he just suddenly smashed out like 17 watts per kilo for about 10 seconds and completely just completely and utterly broke the back of the rider in he was sitting in second wheel.
Oh yeah, I do remember, actually.
Bloody hell, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Yeah. The other rider attacked, but it was like about an 8 watt per kilo attack. And Josh was like, "Is that all you got?" And then just suddenly busted out 17 watts per kilo.
At the top of the epic, yeah.
Yeah, at the top.
As you do, because
Yeah.
everyone could do that.
Exactly. So I wish I'd actually saved that, because that was, I just sat there in disbelief.
Yeah, I was actually having a quick look through your videos there, and I couldn't sort of see one, but yeah.
Did you do one last week, which was a Mickey take of the climb portal? Because it looks remarkably similar.
No, I was doing I haven't done ramp tests for years. I don't really do FTP tests, and I was doing a ramp test, and then after the ramp test, I was just sort of practicing a sort of TT position, because I never actually do TTs outdoors. I don't know why I was doing it, but then I was starting to think, oh, you got the game controller in the front, so with the it was actually about a week before Zwift announced their game controllers, so it was quite funny. And then I was thinking about the game I used to play when I was not a rider, but what's it called? I've forgotten the name of the game, but basically it's like asteroids sort of thing.
Oh, okay, yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But so I just put that up just because a lot of the videos I put up on my stream is just because I want to see if I can do something technically. I don't actually upload probably about 90% of the content, but a lot of the times I'll just try and create something using DaVinci Resolve.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, I was actually looking for that one where you destroyed where you destroyed BCAT in the in what was it? Tiny races.
The tiny races. Yeah, I was getting a few messages, because I get surprised that people actually, as you say, like I get people who say, "Oh, you know everything about Zwift," and so they'll message me and about different parts of Zwift and see what my thoughts are. And I got a few messages about the new BCAT, and I thought there was just an error in the Zwift profile. So then after about 3 days, I was kept on checking, and I was like, "I'm a B rider, really?" And then most of my team are B riders, and we're all like, you got Paul Hamlet, who's not a B rider. He's always A+, because Paul Hamlet's actually a former national champ, rowing champ for Great Britain. So he's always the one pulling us along. But then you had other riders like there's Scott Brotherhood, there's Kyle Jackson. I don't know if Kyle Jackson's a bit of a character in our team. He's actually hurt himself quite badly, so hope he's on the mend. Yeah, so we're all went into B, and so I ended up entering a B race just to see if I'm actually a B, and I was kind of embarrassed. Like after the first race, I was like, "Oh, if this wasn't a 4 race sort of thing, I'd just get off and go and do an A race now." But I was like, "Oh, well, I've committed to 1 race, so I'll see what happens with the next one."
Let's say it was quite convincing, shall we?
Yeah, so Josh Harris messaged me afterwards, like, "I've never seen such domination."
Because I was looking at your Zwift Power deets, and you are ranked 28th in Australia.
Oh, it was, yeah. I haven't been on for a while, and I think I was up to 2nd until Josh Harris came along and started. Once Josh Harris came along, the other couple of aero riders started picking it up too, getting into the tiny races.
Yep.
And so the tiny races is definitely the way to get your ranking up on the Zwift Power.
So have you heard about the new Zwift racing score?
Yeah, I got messaged by one of my teammates, Mike Redmond, who messaged me like at 3 a.m, and he's just like, "What the hell's this?" I looked at it and was like, so Zwift has given us another category of 5 races, but now it's a completely different number. That's not confusing at all.
Well, it just is the Zwift ranking, but instead of going from 600 down to 0, it now goes from 0 up to 1,000.
Yeah, I mean,
after 2 years or wherever they've been working on this, we're doing results-based racing. We're going to have results-based categories, and then they come with the answer. Have you seen Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where Deep Thought says that the answer to life, the universe, is everything is 42, and everyone's like, what? And then it builds Earth, and there's millions of years of experiment there, and they said, actually, the answer is 7 times 6. It's like, what have you been doing for 2 years? Tim's been developing this awesome system,
yeah.
and you've come up with the same system.
Yep.
It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah, it's like they're on the way to the work one day. Like, oh crap, that project's due tomorrow. What do we do? What do we do? Oh no, we'll get the same system, but we'll do the opposite.
Yep.
So,
We'll copy
it's
it.
our new idea.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking up.
Honestly, I just couldn't believe that there's just like, oh, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
What?
yeah, it's that. Yeah, I sort of looked it up. I was like, so it's your top 5 results, but then they're going to change it, I think, to only certain races as well, which is also
Yeah. Just
weird.
reduce the range even further. So it's
Yeah.
only the Z racing races, I think.
Yeah. So as a casual Zwift racer, like how are you gonna have some sort of non-representative number to your race category and not have a very good experience when you jump on for your first race or your second race for the month?
Yeah, we've talked about that.
I'm going to be the number 1 rider at this rate because I do about 80 of them a month.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like the Zwift Insider thing. Like, you can get the cheat code basically, and you can, drop your ranking right down just by doing the right races.
Yeah, or and the opposite applies too as well. Because if they're going to use this for ZRL or wherever, then people are going to want to do the other way around, aren't they?
Well, that brings me back to what was that thing we were supposed to do on the ZRL this year, which never happened? The ranked riders 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, segment battle points.
Yeah. Oh, I've just turned my mic down while the plane flies over.
Have you got an airfield in your garden or something?
I'm right.
Have you actually got a field of aircraft from
I've
all
got
your?
Essendon Field, so yes, you're right on. So I've got the original Melbourne Airport. It's about 3 kilometres down the road.
Essendon. Essendon's down the road from here.
Well, I'm in Essendon, so Essendon Field's airport's just probably like 5 kilometres, but
very close.
Yeah,
small aircraft.
Yeah.
I was just looking at your Zwift racing score there. So for what it is, 879.
Yeah, the Z points too. That always makes me laugh because the Z points just never gets a mention. It just takes up space on that page, and everyone's like, I don't know what that is. And then you go through it, and I think I actually got a pretty good ranking one time because I was doing the Chasing Yellow series. So I suppose everyone was doing the Chasing Pink would get pretty good Z points because you go through so many different courses, and everyone's you got a good blob going. So the Z.
I mean, there you go. This is how ridiculous it is. I'm 857, I think. So I'm nearly as good as you, apparently.
In the Z points?
No, in the Zwift racing category.
Well,
I'm nearly as good as you.
I claim I'm retired now. I put on weight too. So I think I was sort of explaining a bit of. So I did that Chasing Pink series, but I just did a few races to try and see if I could help out, because we also had Speedy from the Aero CT team who was doing the BCAT GC, and so he got the BCAT GC and Josh Harris got the ACAT GC. So I think I did the second last race before the TT in Surrey Hills, and I went up the Fox Hill with Speedy, got him back into the group, and then we started going up Leith Hill, I think, and I just died. Like, I suffered so badly, and the ironical thing was Speedy's off the front pushing the pace. I was like, what am I doing? I don't need to help him. he's killing the group. So there was a little bit of what am I here for? So I just backed off, but I'll stick for about 2 weeks after that, or a week and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's one good thing about cycling is you do know when you're a little bit off, because you get dropped badly from a group that you think you can usually stay
quite
in.
quickly. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm just looking at
right, we must move on. I'm sorry. This was meant to last 10 minutes, but I'm having too much fun. But we've got I'm sure you'll have stuff to say about this as well. We've got Hudo has reviewed Indie Velo. Is there anything you want to say in advance before you watch your bit, Andrew?
Yeah, I've been getting on Indie Velo. I've been really liking it, because one of the things I don't like about Zwift is the cornering. I like the auto braking is really good. You can kick out of the corners. And it's gonna be so tough racing against the two Joshes on that sort of situation, because one of my advantages in Zwift is I can flow through the group and not put in those little spurts. But with Indie Velo, I think I have to be kicking out of those corners to keep up with them.
You're gonna have to try, are you?
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot harder, I think.
All right, let's check it out.
Figured out how you can see it, but it's not like it's a little bit random. You got to turn around when you get you go up turn 7.
Yeah.
And you got that flat section, then you turn right into all the snowfields. But if you turn around, do a U-turn at the right time, then the Yeti's actually coming past that section, just
behind
wandering
you.
by. Yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
So, and he walks basically from turn 7 all the way back up the hill and then back down again. So yeah, if you use the, I think it was the helicopter view, you
Yeah.
might be able to see him because that is absolutely massive.
And so, but if you use the front-facing camera to look behind, would you see it?
Yeah, so what I do is I use the helicopter view sometimes to try and spot where he is,
Yep.
because on the PC you can see a little bit more than on Apple TV and stuff, and then you use just the 0 key, just fly around.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but it's like everything on Zwift. He's absolutely massive, so it's like the size of a house. Which that's the one thing Zwift gets right, is it doesn't try and keep everything to scale.
Yeah.
If-
Okay. Yeah.
If it made birds the size of a bird, we'd never see them. The eagles flying in the sky, they're not, you wouldn't be able to see them at all. So they make them the size of a bus or something, which is what Zwift do. They did understand that you need to have unrealistic scale to make it realistic, which is what I don't like about other games, is they try and make the graphics look good, but it just
too realistic.
it doesn't look right.
Sometimes you see weird effects of that. Like I saw a shadow of a seagull coming over me when I was flying around the volcano, and it was just like, it looked like it was like the entire road, this shadow of a seagull. You're like, what?
Yeah, you see there's a shadow go over top of you.
Oh, got 2 beds now.
Yeah.
Great.
Double the same. Oh no, it's the same one. I was going to say if there's any latency.
It's gonna take off. There we go.
So I actually like the climb portals. You guys don't like it.
That sucks.
Too much
My
going
view of it is Ventop is rubbish.
Yeah.
I'd actually rather write up Ventop with that graphic than the current graphics.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Because like as Shay Miller said last night, people ride on Trainer Road and it's literally a 2D thing of your workout.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get people who do that. I rode with a guy that I used to live in the same area as over the other side of town, and that's what he would do. He used Trainer Road, go and lock himself in his garage, put that on, and then put a movie on and just watch the movie and do Trainer Road. I'm thinking, how can you do that? Like, how can you keep focused on what you're doing and watch something else? And it's so one dimensional.
Yeah.
Something else, but oh, look.
But I think for the climb portal, what Shane Miller said, which is a very good point, we did the chasing yellow and chasing pink, and they try and make it like the tour. But the thing is, you're riding around London as one of the Surrey Hills. Whereas with the climb portal, potentially what they can do is they can chuck in the climb that you're doing that day in the Tour de France and give us a race. And if you're going to have 100 riders in the race, you don't really give a crap about the graphics. You're just watching the riders, and the riders look exactly the same.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right about that. But I don't know. But there's so many other things that Zwift could be doing. They, for some reason, choose to do this. I mean, I've got the Katie Kookaburras here, so.
Like the different colour road, so you know how steep it's going to be. That it almost helped, and then sometimes I was like, no, there's another red one, which means it's going to be steep. But visually, like, really good just to keep your mind active with what's actually going on.
You need to get the play controls
one thing I
and
actually
you can
missed
hit the
from
bubbles.
This is just other riders, but that's not going to be like that for when you ride it, because there's going to be loads of people on there.
But they do have that in Repack Rush.
Yeah.
So, and that's what.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that with the play. Actually, I want to try and take the KOM. I want the Strava KOM.
That's going to be that's going to be pretty hard. I think once everyone gets the play controls, you're going to have Josh Harris. He's going to be going.
Yeah, I think there might be. I think there might be little things from what I've seen.
Yeah, you got the little launching pads.
Is that the com based on your time, or is that then the com based on the points?
Well, the Strava com will be based on your time. So I want to try and get that, but I don't do anything other than race, so I doubt I'll have the patience to learn it. But I think, well, I'll tell you what I think is the key. I think you can go between the break-in. I think you can actually sneak between the, there's like 3 different things together, maybe.
Yeah. Because you got the braking pads and then you got the launching pads.
Yeah, between the pads, I think you can sneak through.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
So people are taking these weird lines to avoid the braking pads, but I think you can just sneak through the middle if you
You
learnt
reckon
if you really got the steering right down.
Yeah, I got you.
how many times are you going to have to do that course to get that right?
Well, that's the thing, yeah.
But it's like the old gaming systems where you would do the same thing over and over again and learn the pattern of where to jump at certain times. And
Yeah.
You'd have to do a really slow ride through like 20 times because there's no way. Like that. Back when I was a kid, you'd sit there for 10 hours doing the game over and over
Yeah.
again, but
Yeah.
you just lie on the ground.
Well, I was thinking, instead of my warm up, which is maybe only 5 minutes anyway, but instead of a warm up, you just do that reasonable, slow pace, just learn, get the line. I don't know, maybe it's not possible, but that's my thought.
Well, at least it gives you something. It's good I don't do warm ups just because to me, I'm like, well, I could just be sitting here having a coffee, getting myself ready, or getting my OBS set up.
Yeah.
The warm up's always a secondary thought, whereas you actually make it a game.
Yep.
Yeah, like I generally like 2 minutes. I mean, because most races, unless it's like, I don't know, Rule My Pool or something like that, where you're going straight up a hill, then you're generally warming up, even the starts aren't fast. I don't know what people are on about. Starts are really fast. They're not that fast anyway.
I think new riders they don't expect it, so they get dropped and have to ride like an idiot for 5 minutes just to get back to the group. Yeah. And I think maybe because I don't race C and D, I can imagine probably as a little bit hectic.
Yeah, that happens a lot. People just don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But C is a little bit more controlled, but still you've got a few people that are new to racing and they've just sort of been thrown in C and they kind of just go out hell for leather and then before you know it, they blow up, they tear the group apart. It's amazing. So
yeah, I've had a couple of instances where I've actually missed a start during a stream and got back into the group and then A group. So yeah, A racing is a lot different than the ones because everyone knows that you're not going to win the race in the first 100 meters. You just want to stay in the group.
Yeah, exactly.
In a couple of the Tour de Zwifts, I turned up late and managed to streak through like 1,000 riders and win the race. It was awesome.
I miss those races where you have like 2,000 riders and you just have a Congo line all the way up the climbs.
Just a big
Yeah, I think I got up to like 85k or something because it was just accelerating me through the 1,000 riders.
All right, gentlemen, I've got to run too. I've got to go to the country. I'm heading to Kyneton for the weekend. So, Ben, you'll know where that is.
No, actually, I don't.
Oh, okay. No, you don't.
No.
So it's about hour and a half, 2 hours out of Melbourne, north. So I was going to stay at a friend's place there for the weekend, catch up with them. So I'm going to have to bow out now, Rob. I'm still recording all this. I'll stop the recording now, and I'll start uploading all the videos plus the individual ones to the Google Drive. Did you want to have a shot at editing it, or did you want me to have a go at editing it?
Yeah, I'll have a crack. Yeah,
have a look at it, see what you want to do, and then we'll try and do a premiere tomorrow sometime.
Sure. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Sounds good. Yeah, I won't be there, but yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy your belated birthday party. Where are you going to?
Just Italian restaurant in town.
Oh, okay. Just you and the missus, or
family, kids as well. Yeah, nice though.
That's a shame. Anyway.
I thought it was your birthday.
Yeah. Kids hanging around complaining about the food.
No, it's always nice.
Yeah, good work. All right, guys. Ben, again, thank you very much. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, Ben.
You're
Tom, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me so we can talk about Zwift.
Yeah.
I don't have many friends that like talking about Zwift.
Well, we certainly do, and we've definitely got you on the list to have you back on again. So if you're up for it.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'll be up for it.
Yeah, awesome.
Gives Whitney a break from me telling her about the latest things in Zwift.
But now you got to tell her about the podcast so she can watch that.
Yeah, she said she'll watch it, but she's actually asleep, and she's got dragon boating in about an hour, so I better go and wake her up.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my mum does dragon boating. She's been in it for 10 years because there's a breast cancer sort of dragon boating team.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then so she dragged Whitney into doing it,
Yep.
and yeah, I think Whitney likes the cafe after the dragon boating.
You got some videos on it. There are some videos on his channel.
Yeah,
I'll have
I
to check
put
it
one
out.
up. Yeah, because I did a little short and actually did really well, but I think it hurts the channel because people are expecting to have either cycling content or dragon boating, so they get the dragon boating, they're like, "Oh, this is really good," and then they see a cycling content after that.
Who's this guy? Get rid of him.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think you got to keep them up.